That's right.
Yeah, Congress decided.
All right, welcome back to CPAC Live, and I am here with Jeff from the Jeff and Bill Show. Most of the time,
we're bringing out the big celebrities at the
so
end.
you are mostly radio.
Yeah, radio, television. I ran a think tank for years with Colorado Christian University. I was chairman of the Western Conservative Summit. So I put on something not nearly this big, but yeah, something like CPAC's little brother out west. So
nice.
Been a part of the conservative movement for a while.
I was on his show. I've been on his show twice now.
Yeah.
And earlier we talked about my crotch. There was
marriage and healthy marriages. So, all that fun
this
stuff.
is going to be the comedy portion of the show.
Right.
So I was literally standing here going like this, pointing to my belt buckle. And there was a woman with a camera snapping pictures.
Yep.
But from Jeff's point of view at the booth next to us,
it was an interesting moment. But that's why we wear belt buckles.
Like we were pre-porn.
Right. That's why we wear belt buckles, get a little attention, right?
That's right. And you're wearing a rodeo.
Yeah, NFR, National Finals Rodeo. I love rodeo, man. I think it's America's best sport, and it's just growing. It's getting up there.
And you want to be a
rodeo announcer.
You got the voice for it.
Wouldn't it be fun? If you go to the rodeo, they start with prayer. They start with the Pledge of Allegiance. There's none of this woke stuff. Everybody loves their country. And then, look, you go to basketball games or football games, those guys lose, they still get paid. A rodeo, unless you're in the top 3 or so, you get bucked off, you get hurt, all that stuff. You're dragging yourself to the hospital. No one wrote you a check that day.
Right.
It's like back old school, like the way sports used to be. That's why I love it.
you shoot a perfect 100, you get to go to the championship.
Yeah.
You shoot a 99, hey, thanks for coming.
Right.
We appreciate the money you contributed with your entry fee that they're going to take home.
That's how it used to be. Now they're all so soft, except for hockey. They got into it good, but that was a rough loss last night.
So, Jeff and Bill.
Yep.
Conservative?
I am conservative.
And Bill is not.
Bill is old school Democrat, Jeffersonian, progressive leaning. So, yeah, if you remember the old Hannity and Combs show on Fox, that's kind of how ours are every single day. And half our audience are Democrats because they take Bill's side and they're like, yeah, go Bill, give it to Jeff. And then the other half is, go Jeff, give it to Bill.
That's actually smart.
Yeah.
How big is your audience?
It's grown. We're a year into it, and we're Denver's top talk radio show.
Wow!
Yeah,
congratulations.
So hopefully it can keep going, and people like it, and we can have that dialogue. But speaking of marriage, I joke about this all the time. I feel like I'm in 2 marriages right now. So
one with Bill.
Yeah, I got one with my wife. who I love, and that's about compromise and sacrifice. Here's the thing: where we are in social media, people love to own the libs on social media, right? The Charlie Kirks, the Ben Shapiro's, get them. That's awesome. We love it. Well, Bill and I couldn't do a show if somebody was pile driven into the ground every single day by somebody else. So It's about conversation, right, left, giving that person space to talk.
So you're actually listening.
Yeah, reflective listening, nice. The skill sets you have to have a healthy marriage. So now it's working out great.
There's a lot of problems in marriages because of politics that wasn't discussed before they got married.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Because I can't imagine in this culture being married to somebody that doesn't share your politics, which means they don't share your worldview. Because those are worldview
because
differences.
It's a values proposition.
100%.
And marriages work not because of common interests. Everybody's like, well, what do you have in common? That's not the question.
Yeah.
What are your common values?
Yes.
You have to have common values because, and this is the problem with internet websites that Match.com and whatever the swipe one. I don't even know which one it is.
Grindr.
For you. I just happen to know what that one is. I didn't know at first. I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, you don't know? You look like you would know. You probably need this. So, but what it magnifies is looks. And it's then you get this fantasy, and it's the image of who they are. And so you get into this, and they like your image, you like their image, and you match it. And, it's like hookup culture. It's like going to a bar, and there's the hot chick at the bar, and you're the hot guy at the bar, and y'all two are going to hook up. Well, one of you might be a Satan worshiper, one of you might be a Christian, and you don't know that. If you and the physical attraction might be too strong that you're going to go there, and then you get wrapped in, and then you find the stuff out later.
Yeah, right. Well, I had a friend who didn't have those same values, and this was a real scenario they ran into. They were debating whether or not they would take their daughter to get an abortion. Okay, so the husband pro-life, the wife pro-choice, and the husband's going, you're going to go kill our grandchild? Like you're going to go take our daughter pregnant with our grandchild and go murder it,
and maybe not allow her to ever have another child.
I mean, if you're not on the same page with those values, that's not just
a big problem. That's a fundamental marriage issue.
It's not like, oh, I like romantic comedies and I like, adventure movies. That is like life and death. So if your marriage is not on the same value plane right there, you're dealing with life and death decisions.
So have I told you about healthymarriage.com?
On my show.
Did I?
Let's
okay.
talk about it. I love it.
So the backstory is I started out with softdivorce.com.
Yeah.
The first thing I had was divorce doesn't have to be so hard. What's not hard? Well, let me see if there's a domain name. Easydivorce.com. Oh, that was taken the day the internet was invented. So what's not hard? Soft. So I got softdivorce.com. And then somebody was like, well, do you have harddivorce.com? And I was like, I do now.
Yeah, that one was cheaper to buy.
It was within 3 minutes.
$1.
Softdivorce.com was available, and so was harddivorce.com. So I grabbed those. But
nice.
Healthydivorce.com, which is really what I meant by soft, it's like 20 grand just to buy the name. And then another 20 grand for me to get healthymarriage.com.
Wow.
And healthymarriage.com is to make a bad marriage good, make a good marriage great, and keep a great marriage great. And also how to form and get into a good marriage if you've never been married or if you're getting remarried. And what I discovered is there's a book, several actually of different authors, but like 101 questions to ask before you get married.
Yep.
You should ask those questions. You should buy, read, and implement and do that book in order for you to have a healthy marriage. It's so critical.
Yeah.
And it reduce the amount of business that likely comes to us in the divorce aspect.
But that's what I appreciate about your work, and I don't say ministry, is because you're seeing the breakup at that point, and you're trying to go back upstream. You're trying to fix what's further upstream, which is really important.
Prevent the problem.
Because as you mentioned on my show, you came from a healthy family. I came from a healthy family. My wife did not. Came from a lot of brokenness there that she had to purposely work through.
Yep.
And if you get to that point where it starts falling apart, you're setting your kids up for generation
that's right.
after generation breakup. So, God bless you for what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
And for the ministry that you're doing to bring about healthy marriages. So my wife and I, we talk about this on my show. So this isn't a secret or anything. I worked for the Mitt Romney campaign in 2012, and they worked us 7 days a week. And I was the coalition's director in Colorado. So we were swing state, 7 days a week, 18-hour days. It was my job to pick up anybody that flew into the state as a surrogate. So any of the Romney sons, Marco Rubio, anybody that came in. Get them at the airport, brief them on the state of the race, take them to all the events. So I was gone all day. My wife had 3 kids under the age of 4 and was pregnant with her 4th.
Wow.
So I was gone.
Wow.
I was just gone.
That's a lot.
We spent a year in marriage therapy working to communicate again to be able to save our marriage. We're now been married 17 years. But
congratulations. That's about how long we've been married.
Oh,
in
fantastic.
June, 17 years.
That's great. But it takes like commitment and work. And I was one of those guys.
It takes intentional decisions.
Perfect.
Intentional, purposeful decisions that you do the things that cause the results of the feelings. Too many people put the horse before cart before the horse.
Yep.
And they think, well, I'm supposed to feel a certain way, so then therefore I'll react a certain way. No.
Yep.
You have to intentionally do things that cause the feelings. And you have to do that over and over and over again for your whole life.
That's exactly right. So, you go through a rough patch. You're like, I got to get the flowers before we're going to have a good conversation. I need to take her out to dinner and talk through her feelings, right? We're not going to jump right back into, I love you, everything's great. No, you got to often, when you get through those rough patches, you have to purposely choose that I'm going to press through and do things that appeal to her, that show her I like her, that I love her. and things come around at that point. But if you're waiting for feelings to show up,
right? No, right.
You're gonna be waiting a long time.
They think it's just this magical happy ever after. That's not a thing,
right?
It's if you put in the work,
well,
the work comes first.
And like I was one of those guys that was like, I'm not going to go to a counselor. You kidding? Come on, dude. I'm a man. I'm not going to go to a counselor. And we couldn't even talk. We were in such a spot where we would just yell at each other every time that I was like, I need somebody to help translate. So we found a great counselor. He helped translate what I was saying to her, helped translate what she was saying to me. We spent a year going once a week. And I think our marriage is stronger now because of it. But there were some dark days, man.
Oh, yeah.
Some dark days.
Our first year of marriage was very difficult.
Yeah.
And we, one of the things that really helped us was we were going to a lot of these business seminars and different things for the law firm. And one of them was we did this thing called Find Your Why. And my why is I'm always looking for a better way to do something. Yeah. And I'm compelled to share it with others. That's why the podcast. Nice. And that's why I'm interested to talk to people, because I'm like, tell me what's better. Tell me what's better. And then I'm tell the world, it's my why manifesting. Well, my wife's why is she does things the right way.
Yeah.
So here's what was happening. We're married, I don't know, at least 2 days. And I go, hey, I own a law firm. You're a project manager. A paralegal is like a project manager for cases. You should come to work for me and be my paralegal. That way we can spend all the time together. And you should quit your job making $45,000 a year because I'd pay a paralegal like $45,000 a year at this time. And that you love this job. I know, but I love you. You love me. Yeah. We should spend all this time together. That's a great idea, right? For a newly wedded couple.
It's like when friends start businesses too. You're like, oh, man.
Yeah, not what I would recommend. Yeah. So here's what was happening. Her why is she does things the right way. My why is find a better way and then share it with others. So she would be doing something and I'd see her doing it and I'd make a suggestion. Her subconscious hears, what are you doing? I do things right. Yeah. And she would explain to me why she's doing it like that. And I would explain and again, come back with that and then explain.
So it was a criticism.
And it's a little bit better. And her subconscious hears, wait, I just told him I was doing it right. And he just told me something do different or whatever. Yeah. And so she told me again. And I'm like, why is she resisting? The world of anybody. She doesn't understand. I'll try again. Mm-hmm. And she's like, this jackass is not listening to me. And then kind of get frustrated and short. And I'm like, this idiot is too stupid to understand what I'm trying to tell her to do something better. And we get this seminar and we find this out and she goes, oh, I always thought you were telling me I was doing something wrong. I'm like, Summer, I can't think of a single instance where I ever thought you were ever doing anything wrong. Yeah, you were just trying to improve, you were just trying to make a suggestion of a better way to do something. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. And our marriage, from just understanding each other that much better, was, from the same program too, was we're all in our own box, and you can't see what's written on the outside of your box. That's why you go to a counselor to read the box to you. Yeah. And you got to talk through some things. And the other thing is, I went to counseling we had a dog that passed away early, and I thought I made a mistake about his health care and it was just really, and so, and it was just and I had never gone and talked to someone. So I scheduled 3-hour sessions for about 12 weeks, once or twice a week. And just at one point I was like, I feel like I'm just paying you to yell at you, but I promise if you just let me yell at you, then I won't yell at anybody else. Nobody else.
Hey, it worked.
It's not how I'm like, but I'm just, he's like, that's what I'm here for. And I talked through that, and it was a very helpful time. So I get why counseling, and people, guys, especially guys, or women too, don't be too proud. So, and I would say also, don't dump all that crap on your friends.
Yes.
Go to talk to a professional. Don't crap where you eat. Right.
Well, and most guys don't have friends. I mean, to be honest, it's like your wife and then your family. That's it. So who are you going to go talk to?
Yeah, there's not a lot of, I kind of have to pay somebody to talk to you about that type of stuff. Seriously.
And me.
Yeah. I'll come right here in front of the world. Yeah. Would you like to talk to your private counselor and tell her deeper dark secrets? Well, can we put it on camera and show it to everyone?
They'll make really good content.
Yeah. Here, look at this. Oh, it's disgusting. How long has it been since you cleaned under there? It's sticky and
those skill sets, and thank you for doing what you're doing on healthy marriages. And that I mentioned, that's generational impact. It's 2, 3, 4 generations. You mess that up, the kids don't see healthy relationships. They don't see healthy communication, and it just continues and continues and continues. So
that's what I tell people. There's a magic question that I have, that because I view myself as the guard at the gate, and my general rule is thou shalt not pass, because you pass me, you have to get a divorce, and I wouldn't wish a divorce on anyone. And I'm looking for every possible way I can save this marriage whenever I'm doing consultations. I'm completely redundant on the firm. I don't have to do consultations at all, but I still do them because that's where my real mission is. That's where the real help comes in. And it's, I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's the place where the help comes in the most.
Yeah, you get to do that work
and
ministry.
And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's why I just ate, and I get a little sluggy after I eat. That's why I usually don't eat until the end of the day. I never, if I'm in a trial, I never eat.
Really? So you go in?
Yeah, no, I fast. Most of the time I only eat one meal a day, and most of the time I don't eat carbs, and I just ate like 3 pieces of pizza.
Doesn't it suck when
it's like brain
you eat one meal a day and you don't lose any weight? It's just crazy.
Yeah. You know, a week ago I did a 96-hour fast.
Did you?
And then I've probably gained that weight all totally back.
You live in this realm of 10 pounds. You're like,
right.
You're like, I work really hard to lose it, and I spend 2 days, it comes right back.
Yeah.
And then I work to lose it, and then 2 days.
The body does not like to shed.
When you're in
shed
40s, no, or what are you 40s?
I'm 50.
You're 50?
Just 50 and a half now. So,
well, man, it's been great chatting with you.
Jeff, thank you very much.
Dana.
So how did you start your show?
So I'm a political campaign guy. Worked for Rick Santorum in the U.S. Senate. Was his media coordinator. I put.
Well, he got Jon Stewart destroyed him with that meme.
Which one was that? Back in 2006?
Is that the one? Rick Santorum about, or something about what? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong guy, but
they named the byproduct.
It's weird. Yeah. That. Right. Yeah. It was that.
That was back in 2006.
Like that I think is the hardest thing to come back from in a political campaign ever. He was just demonizing at the time. Like I used to watch Jon Stewart a lot at that time. I was sort of very, very found. I was not big on Mitt Romney at the time.
Yeah.
And Obama, when McCain was going after him, I was a supporter of McCain, but then like that dog story about it was Romney, wasn't it?
Romney put the dog on
the roof, and that
on a family vacation.
Dude, I voted for Obama because of that.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
And I bought into all that bullshit, and it's a shameful, but so wisdom is making good decisions based on learned experience. And so good decisions and learned experience comes from making bad decisions.
Yeah.
So that was my bad decision.
Well, it was a bad decision for Romney to talk about it publicly. Same thing with Kristi Noem, where she shot the dog. Nobody knew about it. They just go out and talk about it publicly. And you're like, really? Anytime you strap a dog to the top of a car or drag it out to a quarry and shoot it, that's probably not something you want to talk about publicly.
It's like, let's not have that person making our decisions in life. So. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm definitely Lawyer Dana podcast. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you.
My wife and I believe a lot in healthy marriages. So
thank you.
Great work. Healthy marriage, healthy divorce,
healthymarriage.com. Healthydivorce.com, healthymarriage.com.
There you go.
Either way, we want you to be healthy. Hopefully the marriage works out, but
that's right. Yeah.
And so this is the Lawyer Dana Show. We are close to closing, but we may have another. We do have another one. One more guest. We'll be back after a short break. Like, subscribe, click that alert bell, and we'll see you in the next episode. This is the Lawyer Dana Show.
That was awesome.